Hey guys, I've got something interesting for you today. So today I've got a custom that I did myself. I have a character named Let Me Solo Her. So this is from a game called Elden Ring. And if you don't know, Elden Ring came out in February of 2022. So it's a huge game, really popular. I haven't played it myself. One of the neat things about this game is that it was written by George R.R. Martin of Game of Thrones fame. And so it was just, kind of the big game at the time. And around July, there was an article that was put out about this person whose screen name was Let Me Solo Her. So if you're not really familiar with Let Me Solo Her, this person played Elden Ring and was helping people beat a character named Millennia. So this Millennia was a very powerful boss, and Let Me Solo Her would just kind of stand around and wait for people to, be able to help them. This is Hela, Marvel Legends. This is the closest I have since I don't think there even is a Millennia figure. Let Me Solo Her was even popular enough for somebody to write a whole song, which I didn't think was even that bad. So I thought this was absolutely hilarious, and as soon as I was able to, I started figuring out how I could make a custom of this figure. So here is Let Me Solo Her. Take a look at the articulation first. So it's got double jointed knees and elbows. Can go totally up on both, which is awesome. You can see that there are no pins, which is really nice. We have a lot of ankle movement, tilt, all the things that you could possibly ask for. Hips, you can see, you can go splits almost fully flat. We can go up that far, and we don't have any kind of McFarlane diaper issues there. Our waist can twist like that, and then torso, we've got that. At the shoulder arm level, we can come up at the T, goes all the way around, no problem. And then we've got butterfly joints, so lots of articulation, lots of posing that you can do with this guy. And then as far as the actual character design himself, the helmet, this pot, is 3D printed. I printed it in, I believe, white and yellow, since that's just what I had on my printer at the time. And then I glued together the handles and then painted with just a Gundam marker. So you can see that it still, has the 3D printed lines that you can see. But overall, the detail looks really good. Obviously, this would look better on a resin printer, but I don't have one. I also painted the swords with a Gundam marker with the appropriate colors. So as far as hands go, the figure currently has gripping hands, which I'm obviously using for swords. And then we've got a couple of fists here. We've got another set of kind of gripping or maybe a tiger claw style hands. Then we have additional kind of holding hands. This one kind of looks like he'd be holding maybe a large staff or maybe even a cup. And then we've got more gripping hands, but these are kind of like trigger fingers. So if you have guns, you could have him holding guns. And then finally, two unique hands. So we have a left pointing finger and then a right saluting or slapping hand. So the base of the figure is based on this. So this is not a man, which is part of the kind of silly naming of it, which is he is not a man, he is not a man, or not a man. I'm not quite sure of the exact pronunciation of it. I do believe that this is actually a Chinese-based company. There are two other body types that they also make. I got this one just because it was the most easily available. Here are the actual contents. So you can see that it's obviously the same body. We have the same hands in there. And he actually comes with shoes, which are funny and interesting, but based on the character that I'm going for, I'm not trying to use the shoes for him, so. And here's what the actual head looks like. It's funny if you're just using it as the character of not a man. But for my purposes, I went ahead and just kind of ripped off this nose, and then I used super glue on top of here to make the pot attached. So like I said, the helmet is 3D printed, not my design. I bought that online. I'll leave a link in the description. And then, so I printed it out myself. The fundoshi is a Japanese loincloth, which is again what the character wears. and I just used kind of whatever cloth I could find. I was having issues with the cloth fraying where I cut it. So what I did was I used this product. I just kind of soaked the whole thing in it and let it dry, and that drastically reduced the fraying. From there, I wrapped it as closely as possible to an actual fundoshi. I found instructions online, and I think that it came out pretty well. I'm pretty happy with it overall. It's hard to do, especially at a size so small. It probably should even be a little bit smaller to make it a little bit more accurate. Nothing is glued in otherwise or taped or anything, so I could pull that off right now and it would just come off. The swords and the sheath come from Marvel Legends. I believe these are Deadpool swords and the sheaths, but the swords are pretty generic swords. So any figure that has katanas, these are the same exact molds. For the sheath, I did super glue those two together in order for them to hold like that. And then otherwise, I just jammed the sheaths into the side of the fundoshi. The cool thing about the helmet or the pot is that the handles are there. When you turn the head, you can kind of tell where the character is looking. So he's looking to his right there. He's looking kind of down like that. And that's him looking straight. Let's do some comparisons to other figures. So here he is next to Renew Your Vows Spider-Man. You can see that they are effectively the same height. Shoulder wise, Spider-Man comes up a little bit taller than our Not a Man figure, but height wise they do come out pretty much the same. Here is McFarlane Superman from the Justice League film. You can see 7-inch scale, so much taller than the other two, and proportionally just bigger all around. Here he is next to an unofficial One Punch Man figure. This is also a Chinese figure that I found. He is smaller than even the Marvel Legends and the Not a Man figure. And here he is next to Figma Link. So even though Link is more of a young adult teenager, I think he is still much smaller than our other figures. And here's one last figure. So this is SH Figuarts Batman 1989. So you can see that that's reasonably close in scale to the Not a Man and the Marvel Legends. However, it is still smaller for sure. I'm super happy with how this Let Me Solo Her figure came out. And if you like this, then you actually might like my custom Agent Venom figure that I'll post right here.